Presidential Activity, June 2019. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi witnessed the ceremony of the Ministry of Awqaf celebrating Laylat al-Qadr. The President honored the winners of the 26th World Holy Quran competition organized by the Ministry from Egypt, Jordan, Chad, Kenya, Senegal, and the Russian Federation. The President emphasized during his speech on this occasion that the main objective is to preserve the essence of religion and raise consciousness of young people to realize the dangers of extremist thought through conscious and informed religious discourse. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi celebrated the first day of Eid al-Fitr, the small Bayram, with the families and sons of the martyrs and casualties of the armed forces and the police, in tribute to the boundless sacrifices of the martyrs and their families to protect the homeland. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki, stressing the importance of moving forward within specific plans to develop cooperation projects between the two countries in various sectors. The meeting touched on the latest regional developments related to the Horn of Africa. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and a number of ministers and senior officials. The meeting tackled the final preparations for organizing the African Nations Football Championship, which is scheduled to be hosted by Egypt on the 21st of June. During his meeting with the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, President Sisi ordered that the government should focus on providing a favorable environment for stimulating investment. The meeting also tackled the situation on a number of ongoing national projects. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the U.S. Central Command Chief, Kenneth McKenzie, and discussed the results of the last meeting of the Military Cooperation Committee between the two countries in Washington last March, which is the most prominent forum for bilateral military relations. During his meeting with the President of the World Jewish Congress, Ronald Lauder, President Sisi stressed the depth of the strategic relations between Egypt and the United States. The meeting dealt with Egyptian-American relations as well as the latest developments of the Middle East peace process. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated the first African Forum on Combating Corruption in Sharm el-Sheikh. The forum represents a sustainable one for dialogue among the countries of the continent, to exchange information and awareness on national experiences related to facing corruption. The President affirmed during his speech on this occasion that combating corruption and changing the reality of our continent will be achieved only by concerted efforts, crystallizing common visions and strengthening African coordination mechanisms to curb corruption on all axes. During the meeting with the Prime Minister and the Ministers of Investment, Finance and Transport, the President ordered the completion of the plan for the development of the railway network for both passengers and goods, and the establishment of new lines to connect the various parts of the Republic. The meeting reviewed the executive and funding situation of the plans and projects of the Ministry of Transport and its affiliated bodies. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the Speaker of the Libyan House of Representatives, Aqila Saleh. During the meeting, the President referred to the highest priority Egypt attaches to restoring stability in Libya and enabling it to regain its regional and international role. The President met the members of the national team participating in the African Cup of Nations during the training in the air defense stadiums. The President expressed his full confidence in the awareness of the members of the national team and players of the responsibility they are shouldering, stressing the importance of abiding by discipline and behavior. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a meeting with the President of the Veterans Fund, Major General Said El-Ghali, during which they displayed the executive position of the ongoing fund for honoring the martyrs, victims, missing and injured of the military, terrorist and security operations and their families. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan of Emirates, and Minister of State of the United Arab Emirates, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber. During the meeting, the President stressed Egypt's keen interest in developments witnessed by the Gulf region. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi traveled to Belarus on a European tour including Belarus and Romania. The president began his visit to the Belarusian capital Minsk by placing a wreath on the memorial of the unknown soldier. President Sisi met with the representatives of the business community and heads of major companies in Belarus, with the participation of a number of Belarusian ministers and senior officials who welcomed the intensification of cooperation with Egypt to achieve the common interests of both sides. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the Prime Minister Sergei Romas and discussed a number of regional and international issues of common concern. Views were exchanged regarding combating terrorism and extremist thought. President Sisi and his Belarusian counterpart Alexander Lukashenko held a bilateral meeting to discuss boosting joint cooperation between the two countries in various fields. During the summit meeting, they agreed to upgrade the level of the joint committee between Egypt and Belarus up to political. A joint press conference was held between President Sisi and the President of Belarus, during which Sisi delivered a speech stressing the diversity of relations between the two countries in various fields. The two sides exchanged views on issues of common concern. President Sisi and Alexander Lukashenko planted a tree of friendship in the presidential palace garden in Minsk. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi arrived in the capital Bucharest on the first day of his official visit to Romania. The president began his visit to the Romanian capital Bucharest by putting a wreath on the grave of the unknown soldier. President Sisi and his Romanian counterpart held a joint session during which the Egyptian president affirmed Egypt's keenness to strengthen its relations with Romania in various fields. Sisi stressed during the joint press conference that his talks with the Romanian counterpart were fruitful and stressed the prospects for promising cooperation between the two countries. The University of Bucharest for Economic Studies, one of the most important educational institutions in Romania, awarded honorary doctorate to President Sisi. President Sisi delivered a speech during which he expressed his appreciation of these ties, which constitute the base of friendly relations between the two countries. During his meeting with the Chief of Staff of the Romanian Armed Forces, General Nicolae Leonel, President Sisi expressed his hope for the development of bilateral cooperation with Romania in various fields, and to enhance coordination and consultation on international issues of mutual interest. President Sisi met with the President of the Romanian Senate. The meeting reviewed the latest developments in the efforts to achieve comprehensive development in Egypt, as well as the comprehensive Egyptian vision on combating terrorism and extremist thought. During his meeting with the Speaker of the Romanian House of Representatives, President Sisi pointed out the fruitful and positive discussions of the visit and the resulting agreement on the importance of working to promote joint cooperation in various fields, especially the economic and trade ones. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi participated in the opening ceremony of the African Nations Championship. Sisi delivered a speech during which he welcomed the sons of the dear African continent in their second homeland, Egypt, wishing success for everyone. Following the end of the first matches of the championship with the victory of the Egyptian team against Zimbabwe, President Sisi expressed his appreciation of the civilized manifestation in the opening of the African Nations Championship, stressing that Egypt's hosting of the tournament is a message of confirmation of Egypt's cooperation with its African brothers. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the President of the Republic of Mozambique, Filipe Nyusi. They agreed on activating the existing mechanisms of cooperation between the two sides, as well as working on the development of economic relations and trade exchange between the two countries. In a speech delivered during the joint press conference, President Sisi clarified the two sides' determination to push forward relations between the two countries to broader horizons for bilateral cooperation through increasing trade exchange rates and encouraging investments in both countries. Sisi held a meeting with the Minister of Antiquities and the Minister of Tourism. The meeting discussed the executive position of the project of the Egyptian Grand Museum. During the meeting, the President directed the continuation of this great cultural project, ensuring its management and operation in accordance with international standards. President Sisi received the personal envoy and special advisor to the President of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. During the meeting, Sisi stressed the importance of investing this year in pushing forward the joint African action efforts, especially in activating the free trade area, which will contribute to meeting the aspirations of the peoples of the continent to realize development and prosperity. During his meeting with the President of the Serbian National Assembly, President Sisi highlighted the importance of the parliament in enriching the relations between the two countries and the role played by the Egyptian-Serbian Parliamentary Friendship Association in promoting parliamentary cooperation between the two sides. During his meeting with the advisor of the President of the Republic of South Sudan for Security Affairs, President Sisi stressed Egypt's keenness to continue to provide various forms of support to brothers in South Sudan and to back the peace process in a way to move the wheel of development forward. President Sisi met with the EU Commissioner for Immigration, Citizenship and Homeland Affairs, Dimitris Avramopoulos. The meeting discussed European cooperation programs in the field of migration, as well as reviewing the developments of efforts to combat terrorism and extremist thought. Receiving the President of the Republic of Ghana, President Sisi praised the relations between the two countries on the political, economic, security and cultural levels, as well as the growing cooperation in the field of capacity building through various programs organized by the Egyptian Agency for Partnership for Development. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi arrived in Japan to take part in the G20 and held talks with the Japanese Prime Minister. During the meeting, President Sisi discussed Egypt's efforts to push bilateral cooperation to broader vistas in many fields. Sisi took part in the opening day of the 40th G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, which started with a session on trade and investment in the global economy and discussed the various challenges in this regard. During his participation in a mini-coordination African summit on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Osaka, the President stressed Egypt's keenness to play an active and supportive role to achieve the desired objectives of China-Africa partnership. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel and discussed ways of coordinating efforts with Egypt as a pioneering partner of the European Union in combating terrorism and illegal immigration, as well as the latest developments of the Libyan file. During his meeting with the Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, President Sisi affirmed the Egyptian stance on the necessity of reaching a comprehensive political settlement in Libya. The meeting discussed the latest developments of a number of issues related to the regional situation. President Sisi participated in the official dinner banquet hosted by the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at Osaka Park in honor of the heads of state and government, members and guests of the G20 summit. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The two sides agreed to continue joint efforts to enhance cooperation between Arab countries to face the increasing challenges and threats to regional security. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said during his meeting with the Argentinian President Mauricio Macri that Egypt is proud of its distinguished relations with Argentina, praising the progress achieved on the economic level and expressed Egypt's aspiration to develop relations between the two countries in various fields. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. During the meeting, they reviewed the opportunities of bilateral cooperation between Egypt and Russia on the African continent in the light of Egypt's current presidency of the African Union. During his meeting with the UN Secretary General, Sisi stressed Egypt's support for the United Nations efforts aiming at maintaining international peace and security and promoting sustainable development efforts. The meeting discussed the latest developments on a number of regional issues. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the chairman of Toyota Tsusho Company. The president affirmed that Egypt has the necessary capabilities to represent an important hub for all Japanese industries, which are well known for efficiency, particularly in the light of the national projects being launched and implemented in Egypt.